Brentford. So we thought we'd take a look ahead today with the Barnsley manager, Paul Heckingbottom. They have got Preston North End at home at 3 o'clock today. Good morning.
talkSPORT is a great leveller. We always talk about there being two different kind of parts of sport. There is the Daily Mail reading, Wimbledon going, BBC Sport digesters, and then there are the people that have season tickets, go to football, go to rugby week in, week out, and are avid about sport, and that's what talkSPORT represents. Whatever level of football you follow, that will cover it. Listen, we don't give as much time to League 1 and 2 as I'd like, as we do to the Premier League, but it really comes down to size of audience, size of club, pool of club, that kind of thing. So our kind of job is to make sure that people who love their sport are sent on their way to watch their sport or whatever they're doing on Saturday to get them informed. The great thing about radio is, I mean, we have actually put on clothes today, but sometimes we come in our pyjamas, quite literally. It's mostly a makeup-free zone. And so I will get up quite late. I'll get up at 5:15, be in before just around 6 o'clock. Gives us enough time to look through the papers, because really in the morning, if you don't know what's happening, then you're a bit screwed. So I tend to work out what's happening before I go to bed, and then anything that breaks overnight is normally in the papers, and we get 40 minutes to read it before we go on it. The editorial meeting in the morning is literally a recap of what we're doing. So we will have already gone through that running order. If anything's changed overnight, a guest dropped out or we've got a new guest, then that's when we reflect it. It's just a chance, particularly for Cass, because he, being the footballer, is the one with the knowledge, the specialist knowledge. So we tend to be led quite heavily on his agenda of what he wants to talk about. He's a very bright, very well-researched ex-footballer, and he writes a daily column, and when you write a daily column in a national newspaper, you are on top of it all the time. So what Cass wants to talk about is normally bang on what our audience will want to listen to. I think concentration is the biggest challenge. Like we have people saying, "Oh, you're done by 11 o'clock, you're finished for the day," and you're like, well, yeah, it's not as long a day as being in an office 9 to 5, but you don't get up 49 weeks of the year to host your own show. And we concentrate for 4 hours. It's quite hard work, and making it sound like it's not hard work is the hardest thing you can do on radio. And when you work with someone who's as easygoing as Tony, and before him, Mickey Quinn, for me, you know, it does fly. 4 hours is great fun. But if it's not great fun and it's a grind, people hear that it's a grind, and that's really the biggest challenge, is to keep it fresh and hyper for 4 hours. Coffee is quite a big factor here, water as well. And also guests, making sure the guests are fun, funny, entertaining, awake. We tend to know who's good, and when someone's terrible, we never use them again. They can always come on in the evening if they're not very perky in the morning. We're very lucky because we do what's popular. We get to do the nation's favourite sport and things that are high profile and important and interesting, and make people who love football interested. We don't have any remit to do anything but that, and that's why talkSPORT's such a joy. And I think a lot of people think talkSPORT's more contrived than it is. If you listen to a group of people in the pub arguing sport, that's effectively what we're doing here. We might do it in a slightly more digested way, and we might do it in a slightly more convoluted way with sponsors and features and things like that. But fundamentally, talkSPORT's never lost its identity of being the lads down the pub, the boys down the pub, the people who like sport, and I like being part of that.